Our next, I keep saying young lady. I put myself in that category too. She started dancing at age 12, but her real interest to be good came at 15 when she met her future husband. He loved to dance, and she wanted to hang on to him. They lived in Charlotte, went to the cellar, the box, the poorhouse, where we're all going to be before long, Papa Doc's, Johnny Dollars, and the famous Grouchos. Randy Rowland comes around every now and then. Also to Park Center to hear the great bands, Summers at the Beach, found them at Sonny's, the Pad, and the Barrel. Later, at Duck's, Fat Harold's, and the Pavilion. We're lucky to have these places. Her husband introduced her to many of the great dancers. Buzz Sawyer, Cindy Mangum, Judy Tucker, Kim Maynard, Ronnie Joyce, Richard Abney, Debbie Houston, and Pam Bennett. They entered only one contest when they were about 20, and it was at Papa Doc's. And lo and behold, they won. $50 prize, and that went for a down payment on their first refrigerator. They have worked hard and raised a family. She says the beauty of the shag is no matter how old you get, the fabulous fun is still there. And I'm so lucky to be part of such a special dance and time. After a few glasses of wine, she and a couple of her friends become the Shirelles. She always wears that fabulous smile. Sheila McGarity, would you please come up to the podium? Sheila, have you been drinking wine tonight?
No, Hammy wouldn't let me.
Hammy wouldn't let her. He's no fun.
No, but I do look like a vodka bottle. I would like to thank the board and all those that voted for me. I was probably the most surprised of any inductee you've ever had. Oh God, this is the happiest and the scariest day I've had in a long, long time. If anybody has had as much fun as I've had in the last 7 months, I want to meet them, because it has been a blast. And the parties, the friendship, the presents. I would like to just stay an inductee so I can keep going for a while. But I love all of you, and it's a wonderful, wonderful family, and I hope one day my kids can experience, and they probably won't, but experience the kind of friendship all of us have had. And thank you very much.
I have to tell y'all, back in the spring when we called Sheila's name out, we had not called Ham's out, and the first thing she could think of was, oh my goodness, this Ham doesn't get in. I'm going to be so upset, or one of us is. But we're proud to say that we have a couple.
Yeah, we're going to ask you to wait just a minute. What you're talking about is sort of like Ham's birthday, I think.
Just remember, they announced me before Ham, so I got in before Ham.
Yeah, Ham's birthday went on for about 2 months, I think. Yeah. How do you introduce a guy whose wife's just been introduced so eloquently, and she was 15 and he was 16 when they met, and Wanda said everything in bios, and the bios run almost alike. I mean, Jesus, I go through there and I try to figure out what am I going to say about the guy, because she said everything. She's gone through the list, so I'm going to try to nitpick a little bit. The first thing that Wanda didn't say is they were married, and they didn't tell their parents. And they had lived separately a little while, and then they finally got, that's got to be tough. And then they finally told their parents, and they got to live together, okay? But Ham started listening to rock and roll music and the blues when he was 6 years old. He had his first boy and girl party when he was 12. His friend Johnny Gaines came over early to teach him the basic. I hope he taught you well. You do it pretty well. I don't know if he taught you all you know, but we got to meet this Johnny. He also, when Wanda talked about Park Center, she didn't mention any of the groups they saw. They saw the TAMs, the Drifters, the Olympics. What a group, the Olympics. They put on a show. Little Auntie and the Imperials. And Wanda did mention one of the joints they visited that was really great, B&G Trading Post. Gee, what a joint. Chips McCrae and Ronnie Joyce discovered the place, he said. I don't know who discovered it, but they probably did, knowing those two. Ham worked at Sonny's Pavilion. I don't know how many of you realize that, but he did that one summer. Everywhere they went, they were shadowed. There was two guys that went with them, Larry Lupo and Chip Brantley. The dancers in their own right, I promise you. Out of the dancers that Wanda listed, she left out two of the greats, and that's Mike Osborne and Glenda Johnson, Glenda Boogie Wog Johnson. Glenda just had a hip replacement, I think. One of the things that stands out in my mind about Ham's biography that he did mention, and that is he really wants to thank, and I totally agree with him, is the people like Don Reed, Harold Bessett, Tom Wicker, Norfleet Jones, Donnie Christenberry, Randy Rowland, Pam and H. Lee Browne, and all the other past and present club owners that's given us a place to dance. Too often, too often all they hear is complaints, not thanks. And we got to do better than that. That's right, Ham. Thank you for bringing that out. I'm going to tell you, this guy, he's quite a guy. One thing that precedes him, and every time you see him, is a smile. That's the thing that I've noticed the most. He's got the greatest smile in the world. He's got a wonderful family, 2 children, Shane and Tripp, and 5 grandchildren. And I would like for you to welcome Mr. Ham McGarity.
Well, thank goodness I did get in, because Sheila would have never let me live it down. I want to thank the committee, too, everybody that voted for me, and everybody out here knows how close all of us are. Most people have maybe 5 friends in their life. This crowd is lucky enough to have 300 or 400. And I love every one of you. Thank you.
Okay, who are you going to dance with?
She's the boss.
She's the boss.
When it comes to bopping a natural finger popping, baby, you should swing.
And when it comes to bopping and a natural finger popping, Daddy, you are the king.
Baby, you me beat up and down, inside and across. Ooh, yeah.
But in the middle of the night, when the moon is shining bright, you're the boss. Talking about a dancing and a down-home romance, and Daddy, you make the scene.
Talk about dancing and down-home romancing, baby. You are the queen.
Man, when push comes to shove, when it comes down to love, you're a horse.
But in the middle of the night, when the moon is shining bright, you're the boss.
You're the best of everything. You're a peach,
You're a plum,
and you're a diamond.
you're a pearl.
You're the best of everything. And Daddy, you're my man.
And baby, you're my girl. When it comes to knowing which way the wind is blowing, baby, you sure are wise.
And when it comes to knowing which way the wind is blowing, Daddy, you get the prize.
Baby, you're a genius when it comes to cooking up some chili sauce.
But in the middle of the night, when the moon is shining bright, you're the boss.
No, baby,
Yeah.
you're the boss.
Okay, folks, we got one more thing I want to tell you about. Next year, Shag Attack, March 13th and 14th. Hall of Fame, October 9th and 10th. That's the inductions. The next person I'd like to introduce you to, you know very well, because he's been a friend of ours for a long time. He's been a friend of mine for 30 years. And when I say gentleman, I truly mean that. He's one of the finest gentlemen I've ever known. He had the foresight of starting a dance contest 25 years ago this year. And it is the granddaddy of all shag contests, the Nationals, Mr. Barry Thigpen, Hall of Famer Barry Thigpen.
Thank you, Sam, and it's 26 years, but who's counting? First of all, I want to thank the Shaggers Hall of Fame for sponsoring the Masters Division. And from what I've seen tonight, I want to see all the inductees in the Masters Division come next March, because y'all are truly welcome and you are ready. One thing I want to say about this year's team, this team probably is the happiest team I've ever had. They have had themselves a ball. Jason and Holly Cagle didn't know what they were doing when they took over being captains, because these people have gone to Charlotte and they've stayed at their house in Charlotte and danced at their studio and eaten their food. They've also come to North Myrtle Beach and they've stayed at their house and they've danced upstairs and they've eaten their food. So God only knows how much they've spent with this team, but we do appreciate that from the Nationals, Jason and Holly. We appreciate those who had anything to do with the choreography this year. George Hamrick did part of it. It was headed by Nikki Contulis and then with Jeff Hargett, and we appreciate that. This is a great group, and going back to Jet Jackson, something he said about all of these old people sitting around that I started with 25 years ago in the Nationals and all, and they're all sitting around, and I tell you what, some of it ain't even real pretty out in the daylight anymore. And I speak from my heart. But what I like to see is your keepers of the dance, the Saluzos, the Norrises, the William Greens, and all of them, and the team members. They're going to be sitting there like you as all members of the Hall of Fame one day, and they're going to be talking about what damn we had a good time back then in 2008, didn't we? But I do look forward to that. Our team is a great group of 10 people. 3 of them are Beth Mitchell scholarship winners. 3 of them are keepers of the dance, and they're all 10 great kids. Or, well, I shouldn't say kids, they're in the 30s. Some of them even have mortgages, as they say, but whatever. But anyway, they've worked hard to entertain y'all. We got a routine that's not for competition, it's for fun. When you play football, you want to do a touchdown. When you play baseball, you want a home run. And then when you bowl, you might want to do a strike. So see what you think tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2008 National Shag Dance Championship Dance Team.
All you have to do is touch my hand to show me you understand. And something happens to me that's some kind of wonderful. Anytime my little world seems blue, I just have to look at you, and everything seems to be some kind of wonderful. I know I can't express this feeling of tenderness. There's so much I wanna say, but the right words just don't come my way. Think about the sacrifices that I made for you. Think of all the time that I spent with you. Think of all the good things that I've done for you. Think of all the bad things I try not to do. So come on, baby. Think about the good things. Think about the right thing.
Can't hide over, you can't hide behind the 4-leaf clover, oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Have me some fun tonight. I spy, hit him in the eye. I'm gonna get you sweet pie. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm having me some fun tonight. Are you ready?
No, 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 no.
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 Are you ready?
Yes, dear.
Here I come.
We thank you all for coming. I think we saw some future Hall of Famers in that group. They got a few years before they qualify, but thank you all for coming. Eddie wanted me to tell you what Jed did, anybody can do. We love y'all. Hope to see you next year. The music is now for dancing.